responding to, which have lots of practical suggestions for us. But what I am pleased about is, I think in January, the last set of numbers that we've had the highest number of applications to join the army that we've had in about 6 or 7 years. So hopefully the things that we are doing are right. We need to make sure we give you all the support you need, because we're very lucky to have your service. Just the other week I was hosting an event for veterans, and it's really important to me as Prime Minister that the UK is the best country in the world to be a veteran. So it's not just supporting you while you're in service, it's supporting you when you leave as well. And one of the points I was making at that event is you're an enormous asset. Often when we talk about Veterans Affairs, we talk about the support that veterans need, whether it's with mental health, physical health, housing. And Johnny Mercer, the Veterans Minister, and I were there actually announcing a new programme on employment and making companies realise that the best business decision that they could make is to hire one of you when you leave the armed forces, because you bring an incredible amount of skills, of resilience, of experience to bear, and we need to make sure that that national asset is recognised by all our companies, and that we can support you into fantastic careers if you choose to leave the forces at some point as well. So, I care about this very personally. I said I've seen it firsthand being an MP for many years in a military area. It's an enormous privilege to be your Prime Minister, and I'm determined to make sure you guys get all the support that you need from us. Right, very briefly, and then we better wrap up. Can I go to the Sun quickly, and then Daria as well?
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. On your announcement today, what do you say to critics who will recall you resisting calls for the 2.5% pledge, pledged by Boris Johnson in 2022, and will now inevitably think that you're doing it in an election year? And to you and the Secretary-General, there have been reports today that Germany isn't happy with the level of defence spending by the UK. Is that a fair criticism from a country which until recently have been seeming to be slacking in its NATO commitments?
I think, actually, I'm looking forward to seeing Olaf tomorrow, and I'm sure Jens would agree with me. Germany and the UK are the two largest defence spenders in Europe, and are the two countries which have been at the forefront of providing support to Ukraine, and I'm confident that that will continue, and we're actually in the process of strengthening our defence and security cooperation with the Germans, and I'm looking forward to having good conversations on that tomorrow. And there's also good collaboration between our defence industrial bases as well, which again I'll be speaking a little bit about tomorrow. So I think actually that cooperation has been very strong, and I pay tribute to Chancellor Scholz, to Olaf, for the Zeitenwende, which is a significant increase in investment in security, a big change in German policy. I think he deserves enormous praise for the leadership he's shown on that issue, and I think we have a very good, positive relationship. And look, with regard to my approach to these things, you talked about 2021 and all that. I was the Chancellor who oversaw the largest increase in the defence budget since the end of the Cold War, £24 billion. And at every budget fiscal event that we've had since I've been Prime Minister, we've continued to invest more in our defence, crucially in rebuilding stockpiles as we were going through the Ukraine war, but then crucially also strengthening our nuclear deterrence, investing more in that, not just on the armed forces side, but also in Barrow, to make sure that Barrow can handle all the growth that we need from it in the coming years and decades, but also building partnerships around the world, whether it's GCAP to build the next generation of our fighter jets, or AUKUS, which is a truly historic agreement between Australia, America and ourselves to build the most advanced nuclear-powered submarines that the world has ever seen. So look, that's my record on those things. And when it comes to Ukraine, as Jens will attest to, because he and I have worked together for the last year and a half, I have been at the forefront of making those decisions to get Ukraine more support, and that whether that's being the first country to do main battle tanks, the first country to say that we would train aircraft pilots, and crucially the first country to provide long-range weapons, Storm Shadow, which have been an enormous success in Ukraine. Again, it was me and it was the UK that made those decisions ahead of everyone else, working closely with Jens, and we've done that for the last year and a half. So this is something that I've always taken incredibly seriously, but this is the right moment to make this announcement for the reasons that I've outlined.
Just to briefly add to that, the United Kingdom has been leading by example, both when it comes to defence spending within the alliance and when it comes to providing support to Ukraine. I welcome, of course, the significant announcement today of spending 2.5% of GDP on defence. That will make a difference. It will demonstrate the United Kingdom's leading role in the alliance, and it would add to the many capabilities you are already providing to our shared security, to our collective defence. And then I, of course, also welcome the fact that Germany has now also started to really step up and are spending, or Germany is spending 2% of GDP on defence this year. In totality, that makes a huge difference because, as Richie said, the UK is the biggest European defence spender, and then Germany the second largest. So together, this is really big money that matters for the alliance. And then on Ukraine. First on main battle tanks, first on the precision strike, and actually first on training Ukrainian soldiers, and first on training pilots. So this is a huge difference, and that's the reason also why the UK really is a staunch and highly valued NATO ally.
Perfect. And lastly, if we just go to the Polish media, Daria El-Shahabi.
I'm not Daria, but I'm Karol Kostrzewa, Polish press agency. I would like to ask, are there any talks in NATO countries about expanding the nuclear sharing program? Thank you very much.
Spending? I didn't get the program.
Nuclear sharing program.
Oh, sorry, so expanding. No, there are no plans to expand the NATO sharing arrangements, no plans to deploy any more nuclear weapons in any additional NATO countries.
Perfect. Thank you all very much for your time. I look forward to meeting some of you in a little bit. Come on, yes.
Thank you.